Okay, Thrunite has quite a large selection of flashlights available, and some of them are quite a bit brighter than others. And this would be one that is quite a bit brighter. This is the new TC20 Pro. I've got a chance to use it outside quite a bit, and I really do like this flashlight on account for the size and amount of light output it has. Yeah, and on turbo, it'll only run for, I do believe, 200 seconds, which is a little over 3 minutes, which is more than enough. Then it's going to drop down to basically high mode at 1500 lumens. But what you're going to see outside real quick is the 1500 lumens itself is pretty massive as far as throw and flood, like the other Thrunites. The 4 lumen, which is more than enough in a dark area in a house, that runs for 69 days. And before we talk more about this, let's get outside and do some shining, then we'll come back in and cover the specs on it. Tonight we're going to be shining a flashlight at some targets, and I got my ISO cranked up just to show you them targets. It's 64 meter tree, which I believe is about 78 yards. And then a 94 meter tree, which is a little over 100 yards. And that tree line in the back there's right around 130 meters. You're talking, I think it's like 148 yards. And 250 meters on upwards of over 300 meters. We got my ISO turned back down to what the human eye can see. And here's this Thrunite on turbo mode. Right there is turbo mode. Lighten everything up. TC20 Pro. That 94 meter tree. Absolutely blinding it. We're going to move over to higher up. All the way up past 300 meters back there, this thing is lighting up. Takes one heck of a swath with it too. Very bright flashlight. Now one thing I want to do, we're going to do this after I do this first test here. We're going to leave this on turbo mode, which it's already been on for about a minute. And I'm going to shut the camera off and then turn it back on and see if this thing, leave this on for a few minutes and see how much it dims down. Okay, it's been about 4 minutes and I've still been running it on turbo. And we'll be able to tell once we get in there if it had dropped, or you'll have known by now because I shut it off and turned it right back on. But what I will do is click it off and then turn it on turbo and compare for myself so I know. Right now, yeah, I can't tell if it dropped. It's still bright as heck. So we're going to go back to that tree at 62 meters and run through the modes. That is low. The lowest mode other than Firefly, and it does shine out 50 feet, 60 feet or more easily in front of you. Going into medium, can expect that much out of it, upwards of over 60 meters away, which is incredibly good. And then the high mode, long run time, and that does the same thing. Very bright flashlight from Thrunite, wide swath. We're going to try getting some different beam shots of it. Okay, I went down the road a little bit. We're going to shine this Thrunite back the other way on the highest mode. And pretty darn bright, ain't it? Unreal. You can see my yard lights lighting that tree up. Them are probably about 50 meters back. But this lights everything up. That is the highest mode. Turbo. That is low. Pretty awesome. And medium. And then high. High alone does a super good job, I'm telling you that. The pines are quite a ways away. That just shows the swath this thing takes. I can rotate the camera out in the field. Yeah, there's over a couple hundred meters there. Easily. It's hard to see on the camera. There might be wildlife up there. That's why I'm stopping. Sure lights everything up, doesn't it? A lot of light for a little light stick. Alright, as you saw there, a pretty wicked light for the size on this thing. You're not going to go wrong. This is running a XHP 70 high emitter. And like the other Thrunite flashlights, number one, build quality on Thrunite, I must say, is exceptional. I run across a lot of brands of flashlights, and this is one of the very few I've really never had any problems with, or anybody that I know has one that's had problems with. But user interface, I've grown to like the Thrunites. When you turn it on, you have your light to tell what the battery life is, and you basically just on and off like an old school flashlight. You hold it down, it ramps up through low, medium, and high. And you saw outside that high is wicked bright. You double click, you're in the turbo. Or if you hold it on when it's off, you get your firefly mode. All that's powered by Thrunite's awesome 5,000 milliamp, 18 watt hour, 26650 battery. These batteries, I literally think you could run a car with them. Pretty much small enough to fit in your back pocket. Comes with a Thrunite case. I haven't had one come apart yet, but although I don't use cases too much, some people really use them a lot. This one you probably would want it. It is a pretty good case. USB charging, where directly into the flashlight. You don't have to take the battery out. That's, USB-C. And it comes with the spare O-rings and a lanyard. Thrunite's typical warranty, which is pretty darn good. Spec-wise, I'll just hold this up here. Like we covered initially, the 3294 lumens is going to run for 200 seconds and drop down to about 1500. But just on high, 1513 lumens, that's going to run for almost 3 hours. Medium, you're got 10.5 hours. This output right here, you're going to light everything up with it. So battery life, you don't have to worry about this thing at all. As far as distance, 348 meters of throw. You saw there, that thing punches out for such a wide swath, it's unreal. This is just another awesome light from Thrunite. I'm sure there's some other minor specs that I could cover with it, but if you're looking for a very wide beam that actually punches out a long ways, this light's going to get the job done. And companies really are seeming to drop their size down and be able to get more light output in them and runtime, and this is no different. Very well made, awesome light to add to the arsenal. So there you go, Thrunite's TC20 Pro. Pretty wicked light.